Okay, here we go. After 7 long rounds and a top 8, we are here in the finals of the Davie Florida City Championship, and it looks like we had a little bit of a standoff at the start. Neither player wanted to reveal that they had no basics, but then they both kind of awkwardly showed their hands at the same time, and we have 2 mulligans from both people. So, in the first game, Michael did get a quick victory with a bolt strike on a lone Durant. And in the second game, we saw his Eelektrik get stuck in the active spot thanks to catcher and crushing hammer. And Jason took a long game too. However, top cut in Florida is 75 minutes long. So this third game most certainly will finish. We should have probably a good half hour left for this game. So, we're going to get started here. As you can see, a lot of the game can come down to starts, who gets a good start, who goes first, and who runs better with a crushing hammer. Will Jason get heads and discard all of Michael's energy, or will he get tails and Michael continues to be able to attack? So, we'll see what happens here. Of course, Michael will decide to go first. He did lose the second game, so he can choose who gets to go first. And we do see he has quite a good hand if he really wants to be aggressive. He starts with a Magnemite and a rare candy and a communication and a collector. So, if he wanted to, he could go for a turn 2 Magnezone, and I'm sure if he got that out, he would actually win. Just being able to draw through your deck and get catchers, or not catchers, switches, and stuff like that is a really big deal. And eventually I think he'd be able to win very quickly if he got that turn 2 Magnezone. So, we'll see if he decides to do that. He does have a switch in his hand, and he goes for that Thunderous again, which I'm not too excited about. Thunderous actually is not that good against Durant. So we'll see if he puts down the Magnemite at all. He could go for a switch and a charge. That is one way he could go about this. But I'd really like to see him go for the Magnezone. He probably thinks it's a stupid idea though, because you're just drawing more cards and helping Durant deck you out. But as we can see in the second game, if you don't have access to more cards in your deck and your hand kind of stagnates after a while, your Eelektrik can get stuck in the active spot. But once again, he's just going right for Thunderous and charging. Not really sure how I feel about this. He is threatening a turn 2 win. But he also had to waste a switch, and really if there's an Eviolite on the Durant, he won't be able to knock it out anyway. And stuff like Crushing Hammer and Catcher can prevent a turn 2 Disaster Volt anyway. So, I don't know, we'll have to see what happens. I'm sure he just wants to be as aggressive as possible. Thunderous is quite good when you're trying to just get more energy into play. But that's usually for Magnezone, so you can power out Magnezone later. And if he's not using Magnezone, Thunderous isn't really as good. And I think over the course of the game, we'll just kind of see Thunderous not really do a whole lot, but he'll be here at the beginning. And at the very least, he looks very intimidating with his arms crossed. So Jason does have a turn 1 collector once again, and he will use this opportunity to search through his deck. He grabs Rotom first of all, so I'm sure at least one Durant is prized. There's one Durant, hopefully not 2 again. That would be kind of painful. Looking through, he's just going to check to see if crucial things are prized. Things he would look for are like Twins, Revives, Crushing Hammers, Junk Arms, and Catchers, I'm sure. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head. Maybe Juniper as well. Things that you don't really care about in this matchup would be Lost Remover. Probably N wouldn't be too big of a deal. So, he's got plenty of things to look for though. So there's Rotom right away. We're going to see a Mischievous Trick. He's going for that 4th Durant. So here's a Victory Medal. So this is kind of a neat combo. Victory Medal, he gets 1 heads. Alright, he gets to draw the card immediately. And woof, right off the top, first card, there's a Durant. So I think I can see Jason laughing about that a little bit. So right off the top, he gets the Durant. That is a very fortunate occurrence for Jason. A 1 in 6 chance that that can happen, but hey, after last game, I guess he could use a little bit to go his way. So there is a Crushing Hammer, and there we go. This is why Thunderous is not the best starting off, and there's another reason why Thunderous isn't the best. And we're going to see a turn 1 Devour for 4, and this is when Durant can get scary. Now, I really wish Michael would have put the Magnemite down so he could get the Magnezone out, because I think if he can set up quickly and just start knocking out Durant, as long as he can keep drawing into switches, he'll be able to win. He will go for the Eelektrik right here, and looks like he's going to play an N. I think Michael's just afraid of Magnezone being catchered out as well, and then having to Lost Burn all of his energy away into the Lost Zone, and then eventually he thinks he would just run out of stuff and lose. But I think in the long run, it's better that you just have the Magnezone, just to be able to draw through your deck. But he's playing the more conservative route. Well, I say conservative, but it's actually kind of riskier, because you don't really have a consistent draw option without Magnezone in play. And, ugh, that is an ugly hand. Not a single energy. I'm pretty sure he plays 14 in his deck, and he just does not have one. So he's going to start powering up Zekrom, I would think. And we're going to have to see another charge. It's not looking good right now, but things could improve. And he's got a decision. He could either retreat and Eek or charge. And once again, he's going to charge. So at the earliest, we're going to see a turn 3 attack. And it might not even be a knockout on a Durant. So this is exactly what Jason would want. Really, he's got that Eelektrik out there that's free to catch her out. It's got no energy on it. Michael didn't have an energy that turn. He's under no pressure to get knocked out this turn, unless there is some crazy way to power up Zekrom, which seems unlikely because Michael didn't even have an energy. And so Jason's looking pretty solid here at the beginning, but it's a long game with Durant. A lot of things can go wrong over the course of the game. Once your Durants start getting knocked out, you have to keep having revives for them. You know, once a Zekrom gets fully powered and active and starts bolt striking you, things look a little uglier, because they will get a prize every turn unless you have stuff like catchers and crushing hammers. And then you also need revives to get your Durants back, so it's going to be tough. Right there we did see... Oh, hey, that's not bad. Switch actually got discarded, and a Lightning. So Michael will actually be able to switch this turn, because he has a Junk Arm in his hand. So there we go. Junk Arm. Gonna get rid of a Collector and a Dynamo to get the switch that was just discarded. There we go. Actually, there's one in his discard pile anyway, so that didn't really matter. Now again, he has a Magnemite, a Magnezone, and a Magnezone in his hand. I would have loved to see him just play it down and get Magnezone into play, but he decides not to. He's really afraid to get that down. I don't know whether or not this is a good decision, but I would feel more comfortable if he had it into play. Eventually, Jason will play an N of his own, and then Michael will be stuck at a very small hand. I think down the line, this could end up costing Michael the game if he doesn't draw well. But we did see the card he got out of his prizes was a Junk Arm. Now, that's a big deal. He'll be able to play a Junk Arm again for a switch next turn. However, there are 2 switches in his discard pile, and I think a Junk Arm was devoured already. He just had to play one, so he's going to run out of switches very quickly. And this is not what you want to happen. You know, starting with Zekrom was pretty bad, to be honest. I mean, in a perfect world, you would just power up Zekrom, turn 3, and Bolt Strike. But this is not a perfect world, so he had to switch, and he decided to go for Thunderous. So he already used a switch on the first turn of the game. Really, switch is your most valuable resource when you're playing this matchup. You have too many things with high retreat costs that could get just stuck up in the active spot with catcher. And, you know, the longer you can go without playing your switches and Junk Arms, the better it's going to be. Playing against Durant is just a game of conserving your resources and hoping Crushing Hammer just doesn't discard all of your energy, and playing intelligently. This is why Durant can win a lot of games. Most people don't know how to approach the matchup correctly, They either overextend their boundaries or don't really understand how Durant actually wins games. And oh, there's another junk arm. That is painful to see. It's really going to be downhill for Michael, I think. But this turn he does have a junk arm. That is a fortunate thing for him. It might be his last one, though. I don't know exactly if it is or not. Let's see. So he's going to play a switch. He has to send out Zekrom here. He can't make the same mistake he made the last game, which was sending out Thunderous. He should Dynamotor onto Eelektrik. Hopefully attach to Eelektrik as well. Yep, there we go. He's learned his lesson from the last game. And we're going to see another Bolt Strike here. So, now he's in a good position for the time being. But, he doesn't have much of a hand. Catchers can still be a big deal with Crushing Hammer. So, really, this is going to come down to flips. And we'll see if Michael can get out of this one. He's got 4 prizes to go. That Zekrom is fully powered, though. It's really going to come down to whether or not he can draw his energies. And if Jason can hit Crushing Hammers. So this is going to be a very, very close game to finish out this series. I wouldn't expect anything less from 2 top players in the world. But who will come out on top? We have Durant versus the Thunderdome. It's a race to see who can achieve their goal first. Of course, Thunderdome wants to take all 6 prizes, and Durant wants to discard the opponent's deck. And here we go. Here's a Crushing Hammer. Jason junk arms for it. He doesn't really have a whole lot in his hand, so he's got some decisions to make. He could play a Twins. I don't see an energy in his hand, so that's a big deal. So right away he's going to go for the Crushing Hammer. And there's a Heads. So he's 2 for 2 this game. Really fortunate. We'll see what he decides to discard from. I would assume he'll go for the Eelektrik and then try to catcher it out. That would probably be his best option here. And there we go. Energy gets off the Eelektrik. Here is, I believe that's a Twins. His discard pile kind of got pushed off to the side, but yeah, that's a Twins. He's searching his deck. So I would assume we'll see a catcher for the Eelektrik, and then from there he's got a decision to make. He could play it, he could grab an energy and then just try to devour the Eelektrik, or he could go for another Crushing Hammer. Knowing that Michael's hand is so small, he might not have energy from his hand to retreat. So if he discards both energy off the Eelektrik, that could be stuck there for a while, allowing him to devour more in the future. So that's something we're going to have to watch out for. What will Jason decide to do? He does not have a catcher or an energy in his hand, I don't believe. So the first card he's going to grab is catcher without a doubt to bring out Eelektrik. The second card, though, is what we're going to have to see. So whenever you play Twins and you get to search your deck for 2 cards, it's a very tough decision. One that can really impact the game. There's just so many decisions to make, so many cards to choose from. You never really know if you're making the right choices, but I'm sure Jason will come to a pretty good one, if not the best. So, here is a junk arm, actually. That's kind of surprising. Gets rid of a Seeker and a Pokegear. So he might actually be out of catchers in his deck. This is not what I would have expected at all, but if he's out of catchers, then, man, that's just it. And, oh, Michael has to play a Judge. And, yeah, Jason just saying, yeah, my 1 card was a Juniper anyway. Not a big deal. But this is a really, really big turn. Can Michael get an energy? He really needs one to retreat. If he doesn't, he's going to be in huge trouble. And here we go. There's an energy. So there is a start. This is exactly what he needed. He's going to be able to attach, retreat. Then he needs to Dynamotor onto the Eelektrik. Now, the fact that Jason was actually out of catchers was a really big deal. And, ooh, there's an energy out of the prizes, so that's useful as well. If Jason has to keep using junk arms for catchers, maybe he'll just run out of stuff. And it's really going to come down to one big turn where he can Crushing Hammer the Eelektrik and catcher it out. So here we go. Crushing Hammer. Oh, 3 for 3 on the game. That is huge. the energy goes off of the electric, and Jason sees his opening. I do believe he has a twins in his hand, and Michael might be in a bad position. He could get stuck with that electric active. And here we go, he's going to use Rotom's mischievous trick. This is one of the cool things you can do. He knows a catcher is in the prizes, so he's going to try to get it out of the prizes and then use twins, trying to get it out of his deck. We'll see if that prize was indeed a catcher. If it was, he doesn't have to grab a junk arm this time. He looks right away, and nope, looks like it was an N actually, so didn't work that time. Rotom tricks are tough, but they're not always reliable either. It's tough. It's sort of a guessing game because you can't really always know all 6 of your prizes and what goes in and out of your deck. It's very difficult. So we do see a junk arm, and I believe he actually just took a Lost Remover because that would be an easy card to get rid of with junk arm. Here we go. Here's a catcher on the electric, and even though he's only devouring for 2, this is a big deal. Michael just flips over the energy. He's gonna Dynamotor here as well onto the Thunderous. He's gonna pass, and this game is all about crushing hammer at this point, folks. Jason hits another one. It's gonna be big. Here we go. He's drawn 7. Does he get a crushing hammer? And if he does, is it heads? These are all big details. Here's the crushing hammer. Ooh, tails. Alright, that would have been maybe a game-ending crushing hammer. That is very big. So, at this point, I'm not sure how many cards are actually in Michael's deck, but this is very down to the wire. Here's a revive. He does have that energy to retreat next turn, which is very big. Jason's running low on catchers and crushing hammers and junk arms, so it's going to be a very close race. Can Zekrom finish the deal and take out enough Durant in time, or will Jason lock that electric into the active position long enough to devour Michael's deck? I don't think it could get much closer than this. This is a very suspenseful finals. Glad we could catch this one on camera, and this is just day 1 of the Florida Marathon. So we got more coming up after these. But Jason will put an Eelektrik onto that Durant. Kind of a neat trick. Ooh, gets a lightning. And Michael's just saying, alright, let me see what's in there. How many crushing hammers do I have to go through? I believe that's been 4 already. I'm not sure if any of those have been junk arm, but he's just going to take a look. How many catchers, junk arms, and crushing hammers have you played? And there we go. He's putting the energy on the electric. He's going to retreat. Now, the Eelektrik on that Durant with the special metal is kind of cute. Here we have Thunderous coming up, but it's kind of cute because if he were to get another special metal, he would actually dodge Outrage for 100, knocking him out. So there could be some shenanigans where this actually ends up being relevant, but I don't think it will be. Still kind of a cute thing to keep in mind. But at this point, it's honestly going to take a catcher and a crushing hammer for Jason to win this. We did see Michael had an energy in his hand, so he can withstand a catcher. He's got 2 prizes left. He's got enough cards in his deck to survive for a couple turns. Jason really needs to just buy himself 1 turn, and oh, looks like he top-decked that catcher. Probably off of Rotom's mischievous trick. Here's a revive. And here we go, here's a Juniper. Does he get a junk arm for a crushing hammer? This could be the game-deciding turn. Man, it's going to be really close. We do see a victory medal. He's just going to take a look through his prizes. Let's see. I don't know if all of his crushing hammers have been used, but this victory medal, if he flips 2 heads, he can search for whatever he wants. And you gotta think, his one option here, oop, here's a heads, and another heads. Uh-oh. He can search his deck for any card he wants. This will be a crushing hammer or a junk arm, I am sure. If he hits one here, that is pretty much going to be the game, with Michael being out of junk arms and switches. That's going to buy Jason just enough time to win the game. It's going to come down to one suspenseful flip here, and if he can get it here, this will be a devastating blow to Michael. You got to think that he figured he had this won at this point, but this could steal a win away from Michael. It's going to come down to this junk arm for the crushing hammer. I don't see any other way Jason would go about this. You know, maybe he could just take the junk arm and then wait for a catcher for next to... Oh, there's actually a crushing hammer in his deck. So he's going for it. This is it. He's going for the big flip. Everything is on the line here. If he hits the heads, then... Oh, what a big flip. This has to be frustrating for Michael. Ugh. There's a Devour for 3. And there goes his N, so he can't even prevent himself from decking out. What can you do there? I mean, 4 out of 5 crushing hammer flips. There's just not a whole lot that you can do about it. He's got to be getting close to running out of energy at this point. And he's just taking a look, shaking his head in disgust. All 4 junk arms are in there. Both switches are in there. He's going to attach an energy and just hope Jason does not have one to retreat, and really that was the game-deciding flip. Michael has to be absolutely frustrated and crushed. Just gonna look through his deck, see how many cards are left, and he really doesn't have an energy in his hand either. So there's no guarantee that he can even retreat this Eelektrik. Of course, if Jason hit tails on the crushing hammer, then it wouldn't have mattered. He could have retreated and then used Zekrom to knock out another Durant, but man, the 2 heads on the victory medal and then the 1 heads on the crushing hammer. 3 flips went Jason's way there that turn, and that was devastating. And honestly, this is kind of how Durant wins. It comes down to coin flips quite a bit, which makes it the ultimate 50-50 deck. A lot of the games just come down to, did I hit crushing hammer? And in this case, the answer was yes. So, it's still not over, I don't think. Michael does need to draw an energy this turn, though. So here's a Devour for 3. And that is a Thunderous. So that will probably be the game. He just is going to be short. Again, there are 4 cards in his deck. 1 turn short again for Michael. Just, ugh. The crushing hammer's caught up to him. The catcher's caught up to him. This is just unfortunate, but this is how Durant wins. If you were just to put Durant out there and just keep using Devour every turn and not do anything else, sure, it's not a very good deck, but when you take the Pokemon catcher, the crushing hammer, the Lost Remover, the junk arms, all the disruption, it buys time. Eventually, it can lock something into place, and when that happens, Devour starts adding up, and here we go. You can see what happens. Eelektrik is just stuck there. And I think Michael has realized that he has lost the game, but he's just playing it out just in case. And here we see a Juniper. Jason just drawing his whole deck, actually. And a Revive. And there we go. Michael just had 4 cards left in his deck. And yep, that's going to be it. So, all 4 get devoured. Both players actually finished with 0 cards in their deck. But, yeah, Michael had 4 in his deck, and Jason got the 4th. Durant out with Revive. And that will be the match. Jason Klaczynski is your Davie Florida City champion, winner of the first city championship of the Florida Marathon. So quite an exciting series with 2 of the best players in the world. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll have more videos coming up soon. Plenty of the finals were recorded at the Florida Marathon. We have tons of players on camera, including the likes of Aaron Curry, Luke Reed, Harrison Levin, myself, and just plenty of great players. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for when we post more videos, and we'll be back soon, and I'll see you guys next time.